100 pieces in box. Half commissions, half art trades. I will finish them because I have many pieces. I died. Revive. I got the key. Hospital. Actually, I'm a hammer. All its pieces do not finish.
So, fellow quacks, tell me if this has happened to you before. You get an art trade with somebody, and you finish your side of the trade. The other person takes a really long time to finish their side of the trade. Sometimes months, even years, or maybe they don't even finish it at all. In this video, I wanted to talk about ghosting with the art community because I feel like it's a huge issue, not just with art trades, but also commissions.
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it!
So the first reason is probably the most obvious, and it's just to be scammy. Let's be real, most people who do art trades, who usually disappear after doing them, usually just want free art. They don't care about the other person's trade, so if the other person finishes their side of the trade first, that person most likely will disappear after getting their art. And if it's commission, that artist will get the money paid and then they'll disappear, or they'll let the queue of commissions that they have pile up until people start to call out the fact that they haven't gotten their commissions, despite the fact that more people are commissioning them and they're accepting money. This is definitely a problem. Obviously, you should not be ghosting people after approaching someone for an art trade, or if you have a commission and someone already pays for you to do the commission, you should not just disappear. You should finish it. But these are the types of people that want the money or the art and then they disappear. So obviously they're going to be scummy like that. This is really bad because it can definitely break a lot of trust with people. You know, people who do art trades definitely have to put in trust for the other person to draw their character right and to deliver the art within a reasonable time frame. So when people do not follow through on those promises, it can definitely make that person fear approaching someone for an art trade or even commissioning somebody, because if they are unlucky enough to encounter enough artists that do not follow through with their commissions or art trades, it can definitely lead to someone just not wanting to support artists at all. And that's definitely not a great look for artists. The last thing we need is for people to view us terribly because there are people in the community that do not want to finish their artwork for somebody. If you are putting yourself in the position to do something like that, you gotta finish it. And that leads to my next point. Biting off more than you can chew. Now this one seems a little bit more justifiable in the way that some people might get a burst of artistic inspiration. They get that energy. They're like, I need to draw something. I'm in the mood to draw. Or I am open for commissions. You can commission as much as you want from me. And at first it sounds all fine and dandy, but unfortunately that little burst of energy is not going to last, and framing your commissions or your art trade availability around that burst of energy is not a good idea because you're going to get burnt out really fast. People that do this often will open themselves to taking lots of art trades and commissions, and then they end up with a huge queue of owed artwork, sometimes in the hundreds, which is really bad, especially for commissions. You should not have a queue of 100 plus commissions that are still in the works because you're taking forever to finish them. That's not realistic, and honestly, you're going to be in so much work that you're going to stress yourself out, and it's not going to be fair to the people that paid for the work because they're expecting it. So you gotta prioritize things. You gotta make sure you don't overwhelm yourself. If you're feeling that short burst of energy of artistic inspiration and you want to draw characters, then have something open that's doable, you know? So I think a lot of people really need to rein it in when it comes to what they think they can handle, because what you think you can handle is not always what you can handle, just because you got that burst of energy or you feel inspired to draw. Because especially when you're drawing other people's characters, that motivation can go away really quickly because it's not your character. You have to draw them in a certain way. You can't make too many mistakes because that person might be upset by it, or, you know, it can overwhelm you easily. But unfortunately, a lot of people get a little cocky when it comes to this, and that definitely contributes to why some people might ghost, because they kind of take the coward's way out of, oh, well, I lost my burst of energy, I can't follow through with finishing this. And most people do not own up to it. They don't, which is really sad that a lot of people who thought they were going to get some cool art, they don't get it.
Some guys have all the luck. I was born with glass bones and paper skin. Every morning I break my legs, and every afternoon I break my arms. Night
This next point is probably the most reasonable reasons for why someone might ghost, and it could just be because that artist just had some crazy shit happen in their life. Life happens, you know? You get sick, you get injured, and suddenly you can't draw. And all that art that you owe is suddenly now in limbo because you are not in a position to be drawing or exerting yourself. You gotta rest. As a result, things can progress very, very slowly. This is definitely where things can get a little iffy though, because some people have taken advantage of this sort of thing and have used it to lie to get their way out of doing commissions or art trades, which is really pathetic because it makes people who have legitimate issues look like they're lying. Believe it or not, yes, you know, someone can have a lot of crazy shit happen to them within a short time frame, even if it does sound unbelievable. I'm sure someone out there probably has gotten hit by a car, maybe their dog died, and then their parents died, and then all this other stuff happened within like a span of 2 weeks. It sounds crazy, but I'm sure it's probably happened to somebody, and naturally, they don't want to draw when they've got all that going on in their lives. But some people want to lie about that, so of course it's going to sound unbelievable, because wow, you're thinking to yourself, of course this happened right when I wanted art from this person, and it sucks. But if you do have a legitimate reason for why you can't finish art within a reasonable time frame, something that a lot of people need to do is to contact the people that they owe the art to and tell them. Communication is key. A lot of y'all do not tell people that you cannot finish art on time. You just disappear, and then they start getting worried. They think, oh no, the artist must have like forgotten about the commission, or maybe I'm being scammed. But no, instead something bad happened in their lives and they just didn't tell you. Listen, you don't need to give the sob story. You can just be like straight up like, okay, life was kind of hard at the moment, a lot of crazy things happened and I was not in the great headspace, or maybe I was physically unwell enough to draw or something like that. You don't need to be detailed. You can just say you were not feeling okay and you didn't get to finish the art on time, or it's going to be a while. Most people are going to be understanding of that if you just tell them the truth. But no, some of y'all want to lie, some of y'all want to disappear and not say that. And it's really frustrating because, again, this ruins trust with people within the art community. They're going to assume that all artists are like this because, well, there have been so many cases that I wouldn't be surprised if it was true. Like, come on now. This is especially bad with commissions because you're handling people's money, especially if they paid you. You're holding their money hostage, basically. Their money is in limbo because they're waiting for that product to be given to them. And if you're not telling them why it's not being done when you said it would be done, they're going to assume the worst until you tell them. You gotta tell them. I mean, I know that there might be some cases where it might be hard to, but like, is it really hard to just quickly say something, anything? I don't know. It's frustrating. To tie back my point about how people take on more than they can handle when it comes to art trades and commissions, I've also noticed that some people will be irresponsible with how they document things. There are plenty of resources for you to write down what you need to do or whatever. Like Trello exists and I'm pretty sure it's free. Yet so many people will like do this thing where they forget who they owe art to and then they'll make like a post somewhere and be like, oh, sorry guys, I like forgot whose art I owe. Can you like tell me in the comments if I owe you any art? And I'm like, you couldn't have written that down. You couldn't have put that in like a notes app or something. Like you have to ask the people that you owe art to what they are owed. That's ridiculous. Like, come on now. Again, you got plenty of resources. You got a freaking notes app. You can use it in Google Docs. You can use it in freaking spreadsheet if you want to be fancy. Why is it that y'all can't do the basic bare minimum of just writing down who you owe art to instead of just kind of letting it go wild and not writing anything down and getting overwhelmed and lost in the details of everything? It just looks really bad, especially when it's commissioned. It's so annoying seeing stories of people who've heard about artists that have like commission queues up in the hundreds. That's not okay. Y'all should not be doing that, especially if they are taking forever and they're not like giving any updates or anything like that. I've said this before, but you gotta be more responsible when it comes to people and their money, okay? You can't slack off on that. I know I sound a bit harsh, but if I'm commissioning somebody for like $60 to do an illustration and it takes them like half a year to get it done, I'm gonna be pretty upset by it, even if the artwork came out nicely. You gotta be responsible with how you do commissions and art trades. You gotta be upfront with what's going on if you can't get stuff done on time. I think I covered pretty much everything with why people tend to ghost when it comes to art trades and commissions. Document what you've got done, do some sort of like list, or get Trello or any other sort of tracker thing, so that way you know who you owe and what you need to do, or whatever is in progress, as a way to keep things organized. And also, if you're in the mood to draw, don't do too much. Okay, don't overwhelm yourself. Just because you feel like you're in the mood to draw does not mean that you can handle like 50 drawings of some OCs. Don't do this to yourself, because you're going to regret it. I remember when I was younger, I would take like requests from people, and I would do so many, and then I would be done. Then people would keep asking me like in DMs afterwards, like, oh hey, your request's open. And I would feel bad, because sometimes I would say no, but then I would say yes, because I'm like, oh well, you know, they asked, and you know, I don't like saying no to people, and that just kind of sets you up for getting taken advantage of. I think that might be another issue, is that some people, when it comes to art trades anyway, they feel like they're kind of obligated to say yes if someone asks for an art trade. No, you don't need to say yes if you don't want to do an art trade with somebody. If you don't want to do an art trade with somebody for any reason, you don't have to. Just say no and move on with your day, politely. There's no need to take on the burden of doing so if you don't like the character or you don't like the person or whatever. I feel like a lot of people really do stuff. I feel like in the art community, people have a hard time saying no to people whenever they are requested of something. It just kind of feels like we gotta learn to speak up and stand up for ourselves, and to say no when we don't want to do things, because it's important, you know? And also, it prevents you from doing stuff that's like half-assed, because let's be real, there have been times where I've gotten requests when I was like a kid, and I did not feel like the character. I would kind of half-ass a little bit, because I'm like, I don't know how to draw this character properly, so here you go, whatever. And I felt bad looking back on it, because I clearly could have done better, but I just didn't, because I didn't like the character design, or it just didn't fit my vibe. I know I mentioned requests, but I feel like requests are a little bit different, because requests, technically, depending on how they're framed, they're not something that you owe everybody. Like, if you just have something and say, hey, requests are open, you can kind of pick and choose, so you don't really owe anybody anything most of the time. That's why I mentioned art trades and commissions specifically, because in art trade, you're basically promising someone that you're going to finish the art, whereas requests, you're promising to do something, but not everything. At least in some cases. There might be other cases where you might have requests open and you're open to doing pretty much what everyone comments, but that's not always the case. I think that having it so that you only do what you want to do and not what everyone wants you to do is better, because it's more manageable, and that way you don't put too much pressure on yourself. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't feel hesitant to reach out to artists for art trades and commissions, despite the risk of there being ghosting. There's always going to be someone out there willing to draw something for you. With that said, I'll see you quacks later.